It wasn't my first time interviewing Melinda. I know her work as mark making through movement, with these cumbersome drawing setups, walking through the streets and zones of activity, but this is the first time I'd seen the incorporation of video. I asked her if it was her first time using video in this way and what it does to the reading of the work.
So previously, I've just shown the drawings on their own, and I think that while I understood them as walking drawings, I just thought this time I'd experiment with including video just to create that context. However, the video shows where I've been, not what I see. So it's sort of the drawings are what's in front of me and the video is behind. So it's new, and I'm interested, to hear what people think. I was concerned that it might take away some of the mystery of the experience of looking at them. And on opening night, a couple of people did say to me, "Oh, we shouldn't have done that." But that's okay. That won't stop me.
No, I
but then I've also had people say that it's, that it's interesting, and it really sort of get a sense of the environment that I'm actually in.
Yeah, and I think it does give that journeyed sense, and it's kind of got that eerie GoPro kind of aspect to it as well, and it looks like it's in reverse in this particular instance, or is that just how you're moving?
That's just how I'm moving.
All right, and I've got a list of your materials here, and they're always very interested to me, and you kind of throw the kitchen sink at these drawings. Like right here, I've got blackboard paint, gouache, charcoal, metallic pencils, and like you try to create this sense of lyrical harmony within this like chaos of medium and place and stuff. So my question was just how do you come about these creative decisions, and is there a logic that you go about when you do use these mediums? And also, as you're moving around place, I guess, where are all these various pencils and gadgets
behind my ear
going?
like a plumber?
Okay.
No. So I wear an apron. I actually have a sort of like a harness made out of nylon web, and the board, which is just light cardboard, sort of sits in front of me. So I can actually work with both hands, and I don't have to hold the board.
Okay.
So, which is why I walk at night, because I do look slightly eccentric.
It's kind of like those buskers that you see with the harmonica in their mouth, playing the guitar with the beat. Like it's like this very involved process
except that they're not walking, and they're less likely to fall on their face, which is not yet.
Okay.
I was just laughing with Toshi about it. It's only a matter of time. I probably need some kind of padding or something.
Yeah.
But I wear an apron. I put all the materials in my pockets, and I'm basically just pulling things out as I go. I use the blackboard paint because I love its durability, its matte quality, and the fact that you can actually rub things out. I mean, it is literally blackboard paint. I love the erasure and the smudging that you can, and it's tough. It's really tough
there is
surface.
that kind of dabbling with the fundamentals of drawing, like every aspect to obfuscation to like rubbing out to putting on, like it is that kind of balance of working through this process of walking through time. So and usually they are these long captured journeys that, like, how does time come into your practice? It seems to be like a very involved process.
Yeah, look, I think of these as being a sensory record. So it's more than just what I can see, because what I can see, I can only see in my peripheral vision, because I can't really focus at length on anything in particular. And because you're moving, everything is changing all the time anyway. So you're capturing this impression of where you are. And these are really, I think, expressions of love. I was also saying to Toshi earlier, I had 18 months out of the inner west, staying in my dad's home, and during that time he passed away. And so it was a really difficult, awful experience. But coming back to the inner west, I was just really overwhelmed by how much I loved the area. And these drawings are also, in a way, a tribute to the place that I live.
Well,
and
there
so
are the colours
they're
of nocturnal
affection.
elements
They
as
are.
well, and like it does seem as though like there is this intuitive consideration of like how the place looks in this very like abstracted and splayed
That's
way.
it.
So you're not just an experimental drawer, you're also a curator at Draw Space, and you've got a few shows, not just artist residencies as solo shows, but you've got a co-curation with Lisa Pang on textiles, and you've also got a show coming up that is called, and this is, I guess, quite related to your practice, walking around and drawing around the world. So can you tell us a bit about your programming in Draw Space and kind of what your vision for Draw Space has been as we've opened and created this new ARI?
So for those of you who don't know, I'm part of a group who have a few months ago opened a space on Enmore Road in Newtown that's dedicated to experimental drawing called Draw Space. And there are 7 of us in total, and so far we've programmed up till the end of 2024. So it's
verging on 25.
Yes, so it's really, and we've been just overwhelmed by the enthusiasm for the space.
Yeah.
I think a space dedicated solely to experimental drawing is something new, and it's just the energy and the excitement that our artists have had. It's been fantastic. So it's about pushing the boundaries of how we define drawing, really.
And I suppose textiles works very much in that. There's this idea of thread and the continuity of line, and
Correct.
as I'll talk to Lisa Pang later in my own former painting practice, there is this element of threading kind of all around this exhibition. So for your creation of textiles, kind of what was your ethos as you came into the production of that show?
Well, we think of that there is lots of drawing, and Beata articulated some of this already in her introduction, but there is quite a lot of drawing present in the business of creating textile-based art. So, it is a form of drawing with threads, in a fairly sort of, simple way. But I think in speaking to the artists, and so far I think we've got about 7 who are participating in that show in December this year. They all have different ways of sort of utilising drawing in their practice. So this is an opportunity, obviously, to bring some really interesting textile art to the public on Enmore Road, but also for those artists to think critically about, to prompt them to actually think about their work as a form of drawing, and to be able to speak about that confidently. And, we'll be generating a terrific artist's an essay that will sort of speak more about that as well. So it's exciting. I think this is what experimental drawing is. It's about looking beyond just marks on paper and looking at the way that all sorts of artists use drawing in their practice and how they define it. My body moving in space whilst making these could be construed as a form of drawing. I'm drawing in the air as I'm sort of moving around, my environment.
Yeah, and these are definitely more tangible as drawings in the sense that
more
it is
predictable, I guess.
Metal pencils, and it does have, at least in part of the strange assemblage of materials, some of it is drawing materials and some of it isn't, and there's definitely the breaking of rules. I guess what I've heard from Eva Nolan's kind words at the Materiality opening is it's almost like there's a renaissance of drawing happening in Sydney. And one of the initial kind of themes of this talk was to ask what is drawing now. In the past year, what do you think drawing is in Sydney at this point of time?
Well, personally, coming into contact with so many artists for whom drawing is central to their practice, it's been incredibly illuminating and really inspiring for me. I think doing something like this and bringing people together, like Articulate, you create this sort of lab where there's all these exchanges of ideas and, people speak about their processes, and so it is very exciting. And so I think that, yes, as I've said, there's a lot of enthusiasm for the idea of a space dedicated to drawing. And I think too, just real recognition of the fact that drawing is not some kind of poor cousin to painting. It's not just the way identity. That you develop an idea, democratic, inexpensive art form that lots of people can practice. And I think that's, that's the other thing that we're trying to push as well. We want, not just experimental drawing, but we want to expose everybody to this idea that drawing is a universal activity.
Yeah. And I was just going to say, even in National Art School, it's one of the most popular programs that there is. There is an enthusiasm for drawing, and I think a dedicated drawing space in Sydney has been great, but also seeing Articulate do this wonderful exhibition that kind of captures the zeitgeist of, kind of what's happening in Sydney has been
Mm.
really thrilling to see, and there's a lot of energy around this exhibition. So
Absolutely.
thank you, Melinda, and we're going to get to a
Thanks,
few more
Daniel.
artists.
It's an honour to be a part of it all.